Hey, welcome back again. Chris Bikerson as always. We're here at the TA Petro in Gary, Indiana, having a few repairs done to the truck. There you can see what kind of day we're having here. Blew the radiator out this morning, getting a new one replaced. Fortunately, there was a brand new one in stock, so all I got to do is wait for the technician here to get it done. I'm down for a few hours, and I'll be back making money again. So today we're going to be talking about what questions you should be asking a recruiter when you're researching the various owner-operator opportunities that are out there. More importantly, we're going to talk about what kind of answers you should be getting to those questions, what kind of answers you should be looking for. And our next lesson, it's going to segue into some of the common scams and red flags you should be looking for. If this is your first time with us here, go ahead, stick around, check it out, and I'd recommend once you watch this video, go ahead, jump back to Owner-Operator Basics Part 1 if you're new to the owner-operator business or just thinking about becoming an owner-operator, even if you just got started, and catch up to us here, and then move forward from there. A lot of good information you won't want to miss.
Okay, so the first thing we want to figure out, first question we want to ask any carrier that we're thinking about contracting with is, how am I going to be compensated? What's my money going to be? What's it going to come from? Are you going to get a flat rate, a certain set rate per mile? Are those going to be for loaded miles only, or are those going to be all miles driven? Or are you going to go on a percentage of what the freight pays? And if you're going on percentage, what percentage of the line haul? What percentage of the fuel surcharge? Even if you're running for a flat rate fee, is the fuel surcharge added on top of that flat rate fee? And what percentage of the fuel surcharge? Are you getting 100% of that rate, 75%, 70%, 65%? You definitely need to know these things. Your accessorial fees like toll reimbursement, tarping fees, etc. Are you going to get 100% of those? Or are you going to get a percentage of those? Factoring fees. Some companies will use a factoring service, a bank, to pay out your invoices prior to collection, and they pass that fee on to you. So there may be a 3%, 4%, 5%, even 6% deduction out of the total freight bill as a fee that the bank charges you to pay you in advance for those. Once we've determined exactly what your compensation setup is, next thing you need to know is, how will you be dispatched? Once you know that, let me give you some examples here. Some companies have what they call forced dispatch, meaning you have no control. They're going to tell you what you're picking up next and where. Some companies, a lot of companies, advertise no forced dispatch. My experience with that from previous times was that usually amounted to them giving me a very, very unfavorable dispatch, and when I rejected it, I found out that it counted against my service score with that company every time I rejected a load that they gave me, and then I would have to wait sometimes hours, sometimes until the next day for them to call me back and offer me some other load that usually wasn't much better than the first one, and in a lot of instances was actually worse. When I see a company advertising no forced dispatch, I don't get excited about that. Is there any kind of load board involved in the process? In other words, can you look at the available loads out there yourself and call your dispatcher or your broker or your fleet manager and tell them what load you would like to haul next? A lot of companies do these. These are becoming more popular. Guys are realizing you need to have that kind of control over your schedule to really make sure you're maintaining profitability. Some companies will just assign you to a broker, and that will be your regular broker, and that broker will work with you. You kind of give them an idea where you want to run, how you want to run, what kind of rates you're looking for, what type of freight you're looking for, and that's not such a bad arrangement. It's kind of it's not the load board, it's not forced dispatched. It's just kind of you actually working with someone on accomplishing your business goals. Do you get your choice of brokers? Some companies, the carrier I'm contracted to, I have a list of several pages of brokers that are approved, that already have a broker packet on file with our carrier, and I can choose anyone off of that list of literally hundreds of brokers that I want to call and pick up freight for. It can change from one load to the next. I don't have any restrictions as far as who I haul for when it comes to the brokers, other than I can't use brokers that don't already have an agreement, a brokering agreement signed with the carrier. But again, the list of brokers that have it is huge and gets larger all the time. Or it's like some companies, I call it BYOB, bring your own broker. There's actually some companies out there that just say, hey, you know what, we'll be your carrier, here's the percentages we're going to give you, bring whatever broker you're used to working with along with you. And I know one company out there even advertises, if they don't have a brokering agreement with whatever broker you use, they will actually go ahead and say, okay, submit the packet and we'll get you approved, and you can keep running for that broker. So lots of different types of setups on how you get dispatched. Again, this is something you want to talk to the recruiter about, so that you know going in how much control you're going to have over your profitability, by knowing how much control you have to make sure you're running profitable lanes. The next thing you'll want to get, the next item you want to clear up, you'll want a complete list of settlement deductions that are going to be taken out of your settlements. That's going to include, it's going to change from one carrier to another, but a lot of companies will pay your registrations for your license plates for your truck, for whatever trailers you're pulling, and then they deduct that incrementally over the year from you. Your $22.90 heavy wheel tax, a lot of them will pay that up front for you and then deduct that from you in increments over the year. Insurance, workman's comp, all your other permits, your IFTA taxes. Find out the complete list of the deductions that come out on your settlements, whether they're weekly, bi-weekly, twice a month, however they're going to have you set up. Industry standards kind of weekly. But get that so you can make a full list of how much money is going to be coming out of your settlement each week. Ask how they handle your fuel taxes. Your fuel taxes are a big deal. They're a lot of work. More on that in just a second. All right, I see we're running out of time for this particular video, so we're going to go ahead and cut this one into 2 parts. So stay tuned for section 6.2 of the owner-operator basics, the continuation of what questions should I be asking and what answers should I be looking for.